All right, here we are. Another week around the trash fire. Your host, Mathias, along with the boy.
John.
Got some quite interesting news this week. A lot of reveals.
Yes, and then even more reveals coming up.
I know.
Reveals about revealing reveals.
So they get you. They give you a teaser for the teaser.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little Marvel end credit thing. Getting you hyped for the next big thing that's coming out.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in the next big thing that's coming out. So
As am I. But let's start with something that's not interesting, and that would be the coin and the model of this month. So we got the Citadel coin and a little Rat Man. An interesting combo, if I do say so myself.
yeah, I don't know.
You
it's
think, you think they just wanted to put an ugly model out there just to say
maybe
people have?
the coin is hilarious though. It's just it's literally just an empty shield. Nothing even on it.
Not even the word Citadel on it,
Right. It's just bizarre. But I mean,
and it's
eh.
bright yellow, I guess. Probably not. It's probably just the picture, but yeah, an interesting coin and an interesting model to go with that coin. I would have expected, I don't know, Space Rain or something.
Yeah, or something that's not just. I mean, I get it. It's paint. So, like, I get it, but just weird, very strange.
They probably just chose the rack because of that recent two-player box set that came out, right?
Yeah, and this gaming codex and all that, or Battle Tome.
I was gonna say they could have done Chaos Space Rain, but they already did that.
Yeah,
That was
the model
last
of the
month.
month in the release is kind of out of whack, or
Yeah,
seems out of whack at least.
I'm sure there's some genius to this madness that they're doing.
Is there? Uh,
Well, John, you see, we're just not there. We're not on that elevated plane just yet, but we will be one day.
One day it will be.
But moving on to the Sunday preview. Not as big, but then again, it's fine.
Yeah, this one is dead. Like, if I thought last week was light, this is a dead Sunday.
Yeah. So of course we got the Citadel paints. Whatever. That's fine. We've given our thoughts on that. The cup. Whatever. Made to order sorcerers. It's funny because going from what I recall, the newest chaos sorcerer is the only WYSIWYG chaos sorcerer now.
Right, because you could only have a force staff and bolt pistol. So it is kind of interesting that this doesn't have options.
Well, I mean, I know that these are just normal chaos sorcerers or OG chaos sorcerers, but it's funny that they're
It
bringing these back.
it's interesting because it's part of the conversation of, does Games Workshop hate conversions, or is there a movement to remove conversions? Which I don't think is true. I think it's bullcrap. Games Workshop absolutely supports conversions because it means they get to sell more models.
Mm-hmm.
Obvious, you know. But there's definitely a movement in terms of the rules design that shies away from having to convert options. It seems that they're moving towards, if you could if it's in the book, you should be able to just buy it and run it. You don't need to get like 10 kits or several kits, even like 3 kits to run a combination of war gear on the model
Mm-hmm.
at the Chaos Sorcerer. Because right now, if you take out these made to order guys, yeah, you could kind of only buy a sorcerer with a bolt pistol and force staff. But what about converting a force sword? Well, right. I mean, that's the double-edged sword there because now you're because in the quest of streamlining the gameplay to model relationship, you were removing an element of converting, which is the get the having the options being represented in rules. Now, on the other hand, nothing's stopping you from just getting a force sword and saying this counts as a force staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one's like most people probably won't care. It's a chaos sorcerer. No one's gonna be like, oh, WYSIWYG.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
piggybacking off what you said, majority of people, if it's like a classic model, everyone's gonna understand that you're not gonna convert a classic model like this to be WYSIWYG, especially if it's already like painted and everything. Majority of people are like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. That sword is a staff, okay, whatever. I don't really know. At least in my experience, maybe if I ever made it to like the higher echelon of the competitive scene, they might care more. But everyone I've ever played against have never been too strict on what the models look like.
yeah, there seems to be a misconception the 40k players are WYSIWYG to the max, especially in other war games like Star Wars Legion, where it's like, haha, Legion isn't WYSIWYG, unlike you 40k losers. Well, I really haven't met anyone who was strict WYSIWYG with 40k, and I played this game since 2005 or something. So yeah, I mean, I play Heresy, and even then, it's contentious. On one hand, yeah, your flamers are flamers, not meltaguns, but on the other hand, yeah, your power maul is your thunder hammer counts as a power maul. That's fine, right?
Mm,
It is interesting.
yeah, but it's just interesting to see that, given how the sorcerers have lost their weapon options, that they'd be releasing these classic sorcerers.
Right.
But I mean, they're cool models, except for the one with the long head. I don't really like that one, but everyone else looks pretty good. Moving on from there, made to order Exalted Champion. This is the Dark Vengeance guy, right?
Yeah, I have like two of him. He's really cool.
Oh yeah, he's a very cool model. I
He's just kind
remember
of oh good.
I remember I wanted to get this guy when I didn't want to buy Dark Vengeance, but I really wanted the small rule book, and I really wanted this model and the Dark Angels HQ. Couldn't get it, but I was able to get the small book, but I couldn't get these guys because everyone wanted the HQ models in the
I'm
Dark
sure.
Vengeance site. But yeah, so this guy finally being made to order. I don't know if he's ever been re-released. I know he hasn't been sold separately, not to my knowledge.
He has not. Actually, he has. He has been sold separately. He's been sold in a clan pack, and he has been sold as part of a box with cultists. So this is not the first time he's come outside the Dark Vengeance box, which
I
is cool.
I see. Well, you missed out on him. He's back. Limited time, but he's back. See what else we got here. Age of Sigmar. Got some classic Skaven models.
More like old world Skaven models.
Yeah, we're talking about fantasy here.
Yeah, these are old. These are ugly. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
these look like classic Skaven. Ugly to look at. I guess it fits the aesthetic. We got them. We got what old rat ogres. The original vermin lords. I don't really know what these are.
You got the Vermin Lord on the left and Thankful and Bone Ripper on the right. The Thankful model is cool just because he's in He's a main character in Gothic and Felix, so it is that one's a classic. I mean, they're all classics at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're just very ugly.
Plastic Skaven. And then we got Black Library. We got a Hellbrick novel being a special edition cover and book, which, like I said, when they do these, looks nice. This is a nice looking book. I like it. If it wasn't gonna be at the price it was, I'd probably pick it up. But just to have as a nice display. But that's that. So that's coming out. Killing Ground audiobook also coming out. What else we got? Farsight audiobook finally coming out. And that's it for that. And then for the Warhammer Plus, we got what is this? Lore Master Skaven Great Clans. I mean that could be anything, right? It's primarily gonna be what, AOS, or you think they're gonna dive into the fantasy part as
It's
well?
probably gonna do fantasy just because they're the same great clans,
Mm-hmm.
and the origins are in the old world, so I could see them having old world stuff there for sure.
Okay, so you think they're just gonna stick to the old world just because it has more lore?
No, I think they'll do both. I think they'll do old world stuff into AOS. So they'll probably start with the origins of the clans in the old world, and then shift to what the clans are up to in Age of Sigmar.
Got it.
That would just make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's pretty much the Sunday preview. So it's just a bunch of made to order stuff. Which, if you like the models, go for it. Just not an interesting week to sell, but that's okay because they're preparing for the big stuff. I'm sure next week they'll announce some pretty good stuff, especially what's coming out. Let's see, in 6 days. 6 days is gonna be a big day, but we'll get to that in a second. Moving on to the next topic we on hand, Heresy Thursday, which they decided to show the Iron Warriors sprues here. So we got the new helmets and the shoulder pads, and these look good.
I mean, I like them. Lame preview. I want more plastic models, but yeah, I mean, good for Iron War players.
Well, they're gonna have to get every Legion out there just so they can
Right, right,
sell the money, and they're gonna just milk this by releasing a new one each week.
right.
But yep, there we go. Iron Legion coming out, or did I say that right? Yeah, Iron Legion.
Iron Warriors Legion.
Iron
Right.
Warriors. The construction workers. So there's them. Other 30k news. You got your classic units with free rules.
This is a big deal.
This is what you were talking about last week, or
It's
hoping for.
It's a big deal.
Well, then I'll let you take this one away.
So, yeah, these are essentially rules for models that had rules in the first edition, but not in the launch books. So the Liber Astartes and Liber Hereticus. Which is pretty, and also there's two documents. There's that, and then there's the Exemplary Battle Legion units. So, Exemplary Battle units, there they are. Are they all good? No, some of them are terrible, some of them are solid, but yeah, you got rules for your Huskarls, your Nemesis Destroyers, your Sunkiller squads, all that good stuff that again had rules with Exemplary Battles, and now they have updated to 2.0 rules. Awesome stuff. And then you got this giant document, the Legacies of the Age of Darkness. So interestingly, this is not necessarily Legends because match play doesn't exist in 30k in the same way it does in 40k. So this is more widespread and welcome in terms of the community allowing the rules to be used. I've heard multiple event organizers of big events saying this will be valid when their events happen. So it's cool. A lot of it are rules for models or units that didn't have models, mostly special characters. People like Erasmus Gold, the Iron Warriors, or
Yeah, I was
Shed
gonna ask.
on no models, but they do get rules.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Are these the models? I mean, are these the units with no models?
Yeah, most of it, but some of it, well, for the Legion units, yes, all the Legion units are essentially there's no model for it.
Hmm.
However, there's the Legion agnostic or the neutral Legion neutral units, and there's a lot of them, and 90% of them have models. So it's interesting how they have separate rules. Big standout to me, Indominus Terminators from 40k are now in 30k. They kind of changed the lore, not really retcon, but kind of expanded on the lore. So it seems like the 40k Terminator armor is essentially the easy to build but not as good variant of Terminator armor.
Hmm.
So you get the 2-up armor save and 5-up invul, which is worse than both Cataphracti and Tartaros. So Cataphracti have a 4-up invul and Tartaros could sweeping advance. These guys, however, can sweeping advance. So the rules are kind of weird in that case.
Let's
Because
see.
right now they kind of have no difference to Tartaros
Hmm.
except different weapon options. And they're also a big difference is they're a troop choice, not an elite choice. However, it also means that if you run the Pride of the Legion Rite of War, you cannot take them as troops with a line keyword, so they can't be OPSEC in 30k. That aside, it's interesting they gave them storm shields, that's new because in 30k you can't really get storm shields unless you're playing Imperial Fists or Salamanders. They can also get assault cannons, which you could not get unless you're Imperial Fist or Blood Angels. So those are some big options there that they can take now. I gotta admit, this was tempting. I saw this. I'm like, oh, I really want to get the Blood Angels Terminator Squad, but I held off on that impulse purchase. Averted. Maybe when I work through my stuff, when I'm gonna get when I have paid more. I just have so much infantry in my 30k army. I want to pay more vehicles. Well, it's cool that these guys have rules now.
Oh, it's good to It's good to know that units that you converted or units that already had models that didn't make it into the book, are still valid.
Oh, double-edged sword there. Because you mentioned units you converted. Well, technically, not all units you converted have rules because in first edition you could kind of give these guys Volkite weapons, but they took that option away.
Hmm.
But it's hard because technically in last edition there was no Indominus unit. There were just a Terminator squad, and you gave them specific Terminator armor. And if you didn't give them Cataphracti or Tartaros, they would be taking standard Terminator armor, which no one really knew what that meant. And you
Hmm.
could give them multi charters, but now you can't. So it's a debatable subject if the option was quote unquote taken away or if they never really had it in the first place because this unit didn't really exist in the first place.
Right.
So a lot of people are salty, but I mean, you can just run those Tartaros. So there's that. Lots of flyers got rules. My lightning finally has rules. It got way worse, but you know what? It's okay. It I could delete Kratos and Spartans, which is but what's fine with me.
Hey, as long as it's there, right?
Yeah, it's there. Big thing is huge nerfs to super heavies and artillery. So in comparison, so in first edition, the Legion Medusa had a artillery cannon that was strength 9, AP 2, ordnance 1 large blast. Now it's strength 9, AP 4 with rending 6. That's a huge nerf.
That's pretty
Essentially, for
bad.
40k fans, that's like having a weapon that was strength 9 AP -4 to being strength 9 AP minus like 1.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So huge nerf there. Now I actually didn't notice this, but the Arcator Bombard, which did make it in the book, also got this nerf, so it seems like they're really nerfing artillery. The Basilisk as well went from Strength 9 AP4, sorry, Strength 9 AP3 to Strength 9 AP4. Huge nerf there.
Makes sense.
Baneblade. Baneblade costs more than a Fell Blade and is just worse. Fell Blade being the Legion Space Marine Baneblade. So also went from Strength 8 AP2 to Strength 8 AP4, rending 6 up. The
What's
Storm Sword went from Strength 10 AP1 to Strength 12 AP3, which is also a nerf because now Terminators are shrugging him off, and can't really do much to vehicles. Also, stupid expensive. Like the Bane Blade is 750 points, which is ridiculous. It's more expensive than the Fell Blade, and it's worse. So, I mean, I've said before on cast, and people know me, that Games Workshop doesn't really change rules to sell models. I could definitely see that effect here, where they're not necessarily trying to sell models, but they're discouraging the use of these models by nerfing them. I mean, you could still use them, right? And I'm sure if you're playing against Solar Ox or Mechanicum or Demons, these changes don't matter because they know Demons don't have an armor save, Solar Ox have a 4-up save. But yeah, against Marines, there's kind of no reason to take a Baneblade if you have any interest in doing in the unit doing well against Space Marines.
yeah. My question, does 30k use the apocalypse templates?
Yes, it does. It
Okay.
does. The big giant templates. Did the Beyblade lose that? Let's see. Yeah, it went from the 7-inch blast to the 5-inch blast, so even the blast radius was reduced,
Oof.
which sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
all
pretty big.
the Imperial Guard tanks that, because in 1.0 you could take them in your Legion and have Space Marine drive it. Now you still can, but they're just way worse.
Hmm.
Like way worse. It's really sad. There was a Storm Sword, 850 points for a strength 12 AP3 large blast 5 up, rending 5 up plasma gun. That's 24 inches of range. That's kind of trash for
Yep.
the amount of points you pay for 850 points.
It's half
Ridiculous.
your. Well,
So
I guess that's not half your points. I guess that's a third of your points, right?
a
Because
third, yeah,
30k is
right.
3,000.
Correct, yeah. So pretty unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
The Legion units fared way better. Ultramarines got for some reason their units are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They got the Terminators with the Cyclone missiles and the Assault Squad with artificial armor. That's cool.
Well, that's
The
because Ultramarines are the best.
Absolutely. Sons of Horus, the Weavers got their jump packs back in the form of a different unit. That's cool. Iron Havocs, Iron Warriors came back. Didn't really get any rules difference besides they got precision shots, which lets them bypass casualty removal on a 6-up. Not that exciting, but hey, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to see if I don't think yeah, Emperor's Children did not get jump packs on their Palatine blades. Which sucks because Sons of Horus got jump packs on their Reaver squads. Whatever, it's okay. I don't play Emperor's Children, so
It's okay. They need the nerf, I guess.
yeah, I guess. But I mean, ultimately, oh, random. The Hammerfall bunker from 40k got rules, so I guess that bunker it has existed for 10,000 years. It's fine with me. It's a terrain piece. It's fluffy. I mean, kind of left field why they would include that, other than trying to sell the model to 30k players, which is fair. I mean,
Hey,
it
no
doesn't ruin the
one, no one's running it in 40k. So you know what? We've got to get it in 30k.
yeah. Instead of buffing in 40k, let's just sell it to 30k players. Great stuff.
Pretty much what
I
happened.
mean, yeah. I mean, overall, I'm happy because my lightning got rules. So,
Mm-hmm.
but and Indominus are a thing. So, oh, interestingly, the Land Raider Phobos got a separate unit entry because there's a 30k Land Raider and a 40k Land Raider, like in terms of the design. And
Mm-hmm.
in first edition, the rules didn't care; it was just Land Raider. You use either. But it seems that in second edition, right now, they have two different data sheets. They're exactly the same in terms of points and war gear, so not really a change there in terms of gameplay. However, who knows what the future lies if the Proteus will get changes. The Phobos, which is the 40k design, won't be. I don't know. It's too early to tell, but I did find that interesting that they separated the data sheets. between the 30k and the 40k Land Raider.
Hmm. Yeah, that is interesting. I guess
Yeah,
we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out. But overall, I'm pretty happy. I mean, sucks for artillery, but it doesn't seem that this is unique to this document. Again, I looked at into the Arctor Bombard, and it also got nerfed in terms of the strength and AP of its weapon. So there's that. However, if you do have Imperial Guard vehicles painted in your Legion cars, I'm sorry, they're garbage. Yes, 30k isn't competitive, but they're just like you don't have to be competitive to acknowledge something is terrible and is a pain to take, and these are definitely, in my opinion, in that category of the Stormblade sucks, the
Hmm.
Painblade sucks. If you like one, go play Solar Ox. I'm sure it'll be better there. Hopefully, maybe not.
Hopefully, that's what we can only hope for.
Yeah, but yes. So
There you go.
more 30k rules, yay. It does make me think though how militia cults and demons are going to be affected if they're going to receive this kind of treatment of rules discouraging their use, because it's like the opposite of rules trying to sell models. They're like, these are rules to discourage you from using them if you care about winning or not, or your unit doing something in game for the points you pay. So
Hmm.
we'll see. I went from hype to optimist or cautiously optimistic for demons, which I do have models for.
I see. Okay then. Well, at least we got a deep insight to this, cause I couldn't have given that much info.
Really fair.
But is there anything else you want to mention in 30k before we jump ship here?
I mean, 30k 30k is getting support, which is great. So I'm just waiting for the demon stuff and the Mechanicum stuff. Actually, I'm about to order some Mechanicum models, so pretty hyped for that.
Well, that's what.
It's in August,
That
so
was in
in a
August.
month.
Okay.
Could be last week of August, which is fine actually. That gives me time to work on Blood Angels. So
Go. Well, we have a kill team reveal. Don't know if you saw it. Obviously, they didn't tease too much. They just have a video, I think, for some flashing lights. So we're gonna get some Gene Stealer cults, and what do you think in the second unit will be?
um,
Rumors I heard were gonna be a Casterkin unit, which
that would be great. Like not Space Marines would be awesome, actually. Even
uh,
though I'm a Space Marine hype right now. But yeah, not having Space Marines would be great. So
yeah, it would be nice. Uh, would you have any different options, or do you think Casterkins are the right call here?
that makes sense. Maybe like some Inquisitor stuff, but because we do have a guard kill team already. So I mean, Tyranids would be awesome actually. Like not even Jade Stealer calls, just straight up Tyranids. That would be great.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it could be, but those two. Well, I mean, Gar already has one, but Gene Circle doesn't have one, right? A kill
No,
team.
they have the White Dwarf one. Tyranids don't have a White Dwarf one or a regular kill team, so it's like Tyranids and I think it's just Tyranids don't
Demons.
have demons. Yeah, Tyranids, demons, and Necrons don't have a White Dwarf or a new box kill team.
All right. Well,
Maybe I should build my Chaos Marine kill team. Take a break from painting Blood Angels.
what is this madness that I'm hearing? Now that sounds like heresy right there.
I mean, at least it's Black Legion. If I said something like Orcs, that would be heresy for sure.
Well, I mean, you already painted your works. You got them done already.
I still have a lot of models left, but it's okay.
Such is
I'll
the orc way.
touch as the Orc way.
But yeah, there we go. So that's. We'll talk more about this later, but they did drop this little teaser for us.
Big thing do I want to point out is, I mean, we can talk about it later, but I think the format is an interesting thing. I'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later when we do the weekend preview thing.
Yeah. Okay. moving on to Necromunda. It was a new model Monday, but we'll get to the other thing there. We got a hype man coming in. Mr. I got speakers so everyone can hear me. I forget what they called this thing. They called this the what did they call this guy? He's not the agitator. Is he? I guess
He
he's
is
the agitator.
propagandist. There we go.
Sorry?
The propagandist, the guy with the speakers.
Yeah, okay, so we got the propagandist. Interesting model. I could definitely see this in Necromunda. Don't know what he does, really. They just give a little description saying that, he's here to help recruit your models and boast your reputation. So, I don't really know how much help that does in game, but he's here. And then you got this guy, the agitator, which again didn't really explain too much on what he does. But I think the agitator can only join outlaw gangs. So obviously you couldn't have him in your enforcers. I would assume you couldn't have him in your Cawdor gang. But Chaos Cults and Wastelanders, I don't know. I don't know what counts as an outlaw gang, but
Yeah, same. I haven't really read deep into that expansion. If I had, I probably forgot about it. But yeah, Necromunda has a ton of rules. So
yeah. But that's the only way you can take these guys. So some, I don't know. I wouldn't call them mercenaries. It's some special characters that you could take in multiple armies, which I guess is what, just mercenaries, right?
I'm not sure. Not sure.
Okay. Either way, they're here. Uh, in terms of design, like I said, I like the speaker guy. I think he's pretty cool. The paint scheme, not sold on. The paint scheme kind of hurts it for me. It's kind of like they just like threw stuff together and just painted it different colors. They're like, all right, yeah, that's Necromunda. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really not excited about these guys. I mean, good for them, for people like these, but I just kind of don't care.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not a must buy. That much I agree on. But we got them. There's that. Moving on. We got some squat lore or Voltan lore. And I just wanted to show the scale of the Votan to the Primaris Marines, and looks like they're small. They're keeping to the dwarf. I thought they would actually be a bit bigger than what they are. So I'm glad that they're keeping the small side of the squats intact.
Yeah, they do look chonky, but at least they don't look tall, which I think is the point they're going for because they are dwarves. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Given the fact that we've never had a scale, them next to another model, I thought they were going to be a bit bigger. So they're probably, I don't know, what would you say, guardsmen? It's tall as a normal guardsman kit right now.
not sure, maybe because the new guardsmen are taller, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were actually the size of current Cadians. But they did increase the size of the new, like the Death Corps are taller than Cadians, which that's the scale thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty much all I wanted to bring up on this article. Was just to see that to have finally a scale on how big these squats will actually be. And there we go. It will be small. Just as they should be. But that was not all for squats that we got, because we also, for New Model Monday, we got exoskeletons. We got Terminators, basically. And how do you feel about this, John?
Let me pull up the link. I pulled the wrong link. Here we go. I mean, cool.
You don't
Is
sound
there a
very
helmet
excited with
option?
that cool.
Like, there's a helmet option. That'd be great. I mean, this is this is definitely a new era of Warhammer 3000. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if these came out like 5 years ago, I would be like GTFO. This is no way. But yeah, this is happening. I mean, they're really hammering into that StarCraft vibe, which I'm sure people like. I'm sure these will do well. I think that this is a welcome addition to Warhammer 40,000, and I will not run away from them. They're
Mm-hmm.
neat. They're cool. I hate the heads because I just don't like. I'd rather they have the full helmet on. So,
See, you're like
but
me. Helmets make you look better. Anytime they're helmetless, it just looks weird.
I'm looking forward to someone bringing squats in 30K though, like using the militia rules. That'd be kind of cool.
I just don't know if you'd be able to bring squats into 30K.
Yeah, you can just use the militia army list because the militia army list is very customizable.
I don't know if you could
Essentially,
bring these
find
squats
upgrades
in.
for your army. What's up?
I don't know if you could bring these squats in.
Probably could. There's so many variations of that. Well, the idea of that list is you could buy upgrades for your army, so you can give your whole army +1 armor save. You can give your whole army +1 strength to the ranged weapons. You can give your whole army +1 ballistic skill, stuff like that. So you can customize your army from a bunch of backworld peasants to high tech mortals, right? And I could see people using these guys in their militia armies, which would be cool. I mean,
I'll take your word on that because I don't know anything about that.
yeah, so I mean, I'm glad they exist, and it's refreshing to see something new for 40K. I will admit, especially since the past 3-4 years have been refreshes of current ranges, especially the past 2 years, to be quite honest, which is very welcome. But I also welcome this new stuff, as different and weird as it is.
I still think it's a mistake, but whatever. It's fine. We embrace the squats, I guess.
To be fair, like I'd rather they finish up with Gar and Demons first before this stuff, but whatever, Games Workshop, it's okay. It's okay.
We just put everything else on the backlog.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if you've ever fallen prey to like the Steam summer sale, but you just buy all those games that you never play until like a long, long time, and your
That's like
backlog just increases.
that's like my Chaos Space Marines. I just have all the new Chaos Space Marine stuff, and I have built, or sorry, I have fully painted 7 models, 5 Terminators, Abaddon, and this Exalted Champion for an RPG I played 2 years ago, and that's it. But I'm buying. I got the Codex. Will I use it? Probably not. But whatever. It's you met me when I played Chaos Space Marines. That was my first army. So,
Mm-hmm. Yep,
but
yep.
yes, there's definitely backlog effect.
That's what GW has. Everyone wants these updated HD models. And then it's just like, you know what? We hear you. So here's squats. But moving on to the final GW news. We got a preview coming on Sunday, July 10th, which is weird because it's on a Sunday and not a Saturday like they usually do.
Yeah, it's kind of random.
But whatever. I like the reveals, and we got our list right here, which is just the specialist games.
Yeah, just the specialist games.
No AOS, no 40K. I don't know. Is Lord of the Rings considered a specialist game now?
No, it's Lord of the Rings and 30K. So here's my hierarchy from what I've determined talking to Games Workshop employees of higher rank. So, i.e., managers. So there's the main games, so that's 40K in AOS. They will always get attention. They're on a 3-year edition cycle. They get the most things. They get the best attention because they're the main games, right?
Right.
Then there's a tier below that, which is Lord of the Rings and now 30K, where they're not specialist, but they're not main games. They're in that weird in between where they occasionally get big releases. 30K getting a huge release, but not as much as the big games. Like I don't think 30K will be in a 3-year edition cycle. The dream is it's in a 6-year edition cycle. So it's getting attention. They're getting plastic. They're getting big plastic hits, but not in the. They don't get the variety that 40K and AOS get. Lord of the Rings is more interesting because there's different factions, but those factions are mostly done now. I mean, I can't think of the last time we got a new plastic Lord of the Rings unit. We
Mm-hmm.
mostly just got characters in plastic.
Right.
And yeah, 30K. The thing with 30K is it's essentially one army. Like I'm not even sure if they're gonna do plastic mechanicum. That might just still be Forge World, right? Because it's more resources put in a game that's not your main game. So I do think that 30K plastic attention will probably just be the legions, the space marines, and then they'll just once in a while give them a release. And then there's the specialist games, and I think Underworld's Underworld's Killteam and Warcry are there where they're offshoots of the main game, but not specialized enough to be specialist games. Like I don't consider Warcry a specialist game because the big thing with the specialist games is specialist games don't use are not compatible at all with the main games. However, Warcry and Kill Team are offshoots of 40K, and not in the rule sense, but in the model sense, right? Like all Warcry and all Kill Team models have 40K rules. And in
Right.
fact, most AOS models have Warcry rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And then you got Underworld, which is in a weird spot. I'll talk more about that later. And then you got the specialist games, which Blood Bowl, Necro, AT, AI. I'm missing something. I think that's it.
Now you got
Blood
them
Bowl,
all.
Necro, AT, yeah. And those are the ones where they have their own unique kind of theme and aesthetic and model ranges. I mean, yeah, you can use Necro models in 40K, but there is no single Necromunda model with 40K rules. And I don't think there ever will be in the foreseeable future. They're trying to keep that super separate.
Actually, there is. Okay, you forgot the Chaos Cultists and the Gene Stealer cults.
You're right. They do have rules for both games. Here you go, Chaos Cultists and Engine Stealers, best armies. You can play them in multiple systems. But but yeah, like Necromunda releases generally don't get 40K rules, right?
Right.
Blood Bowl no way is getting AOS rules or even fantasy rules. That was separate from fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
ATAI different scale doesn't belong in 40K in terms of the game. So yeah, it's just weird hierarchy of games. Essentially, if you're not, I mean, even then, the gap between 40K AOS and everything else is just so big. I mean, every month we get something for 40K and AOS. It's been that way since,
Forever.
since like 2000 and since AOS came out, essentially. And I'm sure fantasy had the same treatment, even in its dying days, because those are the main games. They should get attention. So it is interesting that Games Workshop for this preview is focusing on the skirmish quote unquote games, which is a combination of the specialists and not specialist games.
Well, then, should we get down to our predictions?
Let's do it.
The Kill Team. I mean, we already gave our prediction.
So yeah, it's those new teams and the new game mode. I think when they'll bring back Arena, which I don't necessarily think they're gonna bring the competitive side of Arena, but mostly the playing kill team with 2D terrain, not having, a board with buildings, but more of a map with
With a
kind of like
bunch
a
of
dungeon
walls.
aspect. Exactly, yeah. Now I won't be surprised if the box set will have walled terrain, and which will jack up the price, but whatever. But or they can keep it cheap and just have it be a map with some 3D barricades and stuff. That'd be cool. I mean, I think there's a niche for that. I think I had fun in the sub 10 games I played of Arena. in the last edition of the Killteam.
I never played Arena.
It was definitely more competitive back in the day, just from reading about it. I mean, the tournaments, all the Killteam tournaments use the arena rules, but I do think that it lets you it's a unique experience. It lets you play a different feel using the same rules, but changing the map quite a bit does affect the game in a fun way. And it lets you play games without needing terrain, because I know some people have a hard time building painting, acquiring terrain. So having just being able to play that on a flat map is nice. I mean, when I played Necromunda extensively several years ago, it was with 2D maps. It wasn't with the big buildings and stuff. So I think that's exciting. I would definitely be interested in checking that out.
Okay, well, I'll just stick with the army. I don't think Arena will come out, but we'll see. We'll see. Warcry. This one we haven't. Well, for the rest of these, we haven't had the teaser yet. But Warcry. What are we thinking?
It's going to be the box set with that one Chaos Dwarf worshipping team that was teased a while back with Warhammer Fest. I think we're going to see a new edition of Warcry. Is my long-term prediction.
So a new catacombs kind of deal.
No, yeah, like, or even just a new starter set with different rules. I think that would be cool. I think Warcry would benefit from that.
So Chaos Dwarves. Who would they fight?
Good question. I'm gonna say not a chaos team. I'll go with that.
Non-chaos team.
A non-chaos team, because it's gonna be Realm of Beasts. So
Realm of Beast. So we thinking. I mean, there could be Lizardmen. There could be
that would be cool. Lizardman team would be sick. Get some new
new
swords.
models.
That'd be great.
And then the only other beasts I can think of are like beastmen. But that's chaos, right?
Those are chaos. Yeah.
Are there no beastmen? Or well, I mean, are there no beasts in the destruction army?
In terms of beast men, no. There's orcs and ogres and goblins and stuff. So I mean, there's Kragnos, and we haven't really seen anything of Kragnos' species. I mean, apparently it's the last of his species anyway. So, but we
Right.
haven't really seen much of non-green skin or non-ogre type things with destruction. So exploring that in Warcry would be kind of cool.
Okay. Well, maybe they'll get something then. Maybe they'll make a. It'll be a brand new team against a brand new team. Army. I mean, sorry, brand new army against a brand new army, kind
Yeah,
of
that'd
deal.
be cool.
Because yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know the subtitle was Rise of Beasts. But there we go. I'll go with Lizardman. If you're gonna go Chaos Dwarves, I'll go Lizardman.
Yeah, or Chaos Dwarf worshippers, not necessarily Chaos Dwarves. Like, because we saw that team before back a couple months ago in Warhammer Fest. So I think they're going to be the one team, and yeah, Lizardman would be cool.
Would be nice.
I'm going to say Destruction Warband though.
We'll find out. Find out in 6 days.
Indeed.
Warhammer Underworlds. Honestly, I don't know. The last thing Underworlds did was another two-player box set, right?
Yeah, this game just is in such a weird place. I think this game is in its last legs. I really think Games Workshop. I don't know. I don't think it did anything. I think just game just ran its course. I think having a competitive card-based game is reaching its logical conclusion of there's just so many rules and factions and cards that it's just too unwieldy. And there's no kind of narrative aspect or fun hobby aspect that 40K or AOS have that kind of bring people back despite the massive library of rules to know. So I'm not sure what Underworlds will get, but I mean I always love what they release in terms of their models. Their model ranges are cool.
Yeah, the model range has always been great.
Yeah, but the game is just kind of, I don't know. Like the game is I don't want to say it's dead or dying, but definitely seems like it's dying. I haven't seen anyone play that game since before the pandemic, and even then, it wasn't that big of a game.
Yeah, I mean, I never really liked Underworlds just because of the card aspect, but I'm surprised it's ran this far into its life cycle. But you know, they've been able to pull it off with a new army every. But how many factions do they do a year? They do 6, right?
A year actually.
Huh?
No, yeah, 6 a year. One, two, three, four. Yeah, six. No, eight. They do 8 a year. There's a starter set and then the 6 factions.
Yeah. So the fact that they've been able to do this for 4 years, is that right to say, or is it
Yeah.
3?
No, yeah, it has been like 4 or 5 years.
4 years is impressive with all those new armies and then all the new cards, which you know easy to balance the game when you're like all these old cards trash, they no longer exist unless you play that other game mode of Warhammer Underworlds, which I can't remember.
So with all the cards, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I thought it was like the deck was already fixed.
Oh, the pre-built one. Yeah, that one is a good idea. I do like that one.
Yeah. But I mean, current Underworlds is just like, yeah, all those old cards, they don't exist. And I mean, that's pretty much how they balance the game, right? They're just
Yeah,
like, all
pretty
this
much.
doesn't matter. Use these new cards only. Which obviously uh for the competitive scene at least, forces you to buy the card, forces you to buy the new models and armies just to get the cards
Right.
because they don't sell that stuff separately. Not till the end of the cycle, really. But in terms of army, I have no idea what they're gonna do.
Definitely something crazy. So
I mean, I don't want I don't want Underworlds to end. I don't. I think besides Warcry, I think Warhammer Underworlds has the best models in any of the game systems. Warcry's, Warcry's up there because they can also go do whatever they want, but in terms of pure model design, Warhammer Underworld's hands down the best, in my opinion. So if I had to guess, what was the last 2-player set? Was that Deepkin
I was like
and
Storm, no, it was Stormcast and Cruel Boys, I think.
was it? I thought that was because I know they released 2 different 2-player starter sets. There's like one they had the Stormcast and the Cruel Boys, and then the next box they released was another 2-player box set.
Was it?
I'm
Actually,
pretty
this I
sure.
kind of remember something about. Let's look up their site. Let's see. Underworlds get started. No, I see us. Oh, you're right. There's the Nether Maze, which has the Skaven and the Dark Elves. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, okay. That wasn't too crazy.
Yeah,
So that's the Nether Maze, you said?
yeah, Nether Maze. Man, these are cool models, but yeah,
So the question is it going to be another 2-player box set, or is it going to with like another season, or are they going to just show off models for each new
I
uh
hope. I don't know. I
system?
my prediction is it's gonna be small teams. I don't think it's gonna be a box set. That'd be crazy if they release another box set this soon. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, because I want the game to last a little bit longer, even though I don't play it. My prediction will be they'll show off one core warband or whatever they call it in Underworlds, and then they'll show a bunch of quick edited shots of body parts of other factions, kind of like what they
Oh,
did for the start of 40k when they teased like the Lilith model and the Admech model,
that'd be interesting.
something like that. That would be my prediction. Either that or a roadmap, like they did the previous
Right.
year, where
That's
they
right.
just had the faction logo on there. But that's all I can say for Underworlds. Uh, Blood Bowl. I have no interest, and I don't really want to make any predictions.
Yeah, don't care. Really don't care about Global.
The game popular enough to where they keep making more and more stuff. So, Blood Bowl fans, rejoice that you're still out there. And then Necromunda. I wouldn't say a new faction. I think they're gonna dive more into. They're gonna give us more mercs, or not mercs. What are the bounty hunters? They're gonna give us more bounty hunters, and they're gonna dive into more vehicles, and then maybe some new terrain feature. That's my prediction.
I'm gonna go with terrain, new vehicles, and more ash wasters, the nomads. I think they're gonna expand more on that. Or maybe a new gang. I don't think they'll do bounty hunters per se, but maybe a new gang.
I don't think they're gonna do a new gang. They just came out with the Ashways
And squats.
and squads, so I think it would be safe to say that they'll build up more squads and Ashways than put in a new gang.
Okay.
I think if a new gang were to come, it'd be in a later preview. Just my prediction.
Gotcha. I'll go with June gang. I think they're gonna keep releasing random content for Necro. Because Necro loves that random content.
It thrives on it. All right, and that is it in terms of that. Obviously, us being here in Los Angeles, we wouldn't be able to really enjoy this until 6 a.m. So, I mean, I'd be up, but I'd be at work, so
Mm.
can't really watch it. Just fine, because I'm not too excited for this to say. I think that's fair to say. I'm not too excited for this.
I would wake up if it was gonna be an article with everything revealed and not a stream with those guys talking again, but it's gonna be a stream with those guys talking again, so I'll just sleep until it's finished.
Well, I mean, you could just sleep in and then wait till 7 o'clock and then get the article with everything on it,
Exactly.
or articles. But yeah, there we go. That is that. I don't have any other Warhammer news. I mean, there were some other stuff that dropped today. There's FAQs for 40k and 30k, or not 30k, AOS. I looked at it. I looked at the 40k ones. Not too much big difference there, unless you're the custody players. I know there was some big stuff in there, but other than that, not too much to write about. Uh, Anything other gaming news on your end?
Actually, there's a rumor that dropped for 40k that we're getting 10th edition next year with Jump Assault Marines, Terminators, and World Eaters. Oh, that's going to be the 2.0 codex, and then 10th edition coming up with Blood Angels versus Tyranids, having Jump like Primaris Death Company, Primaris Sanguinary Guard, the Sanguinor coming as a Primarch sized model, which would be great. Furiosa Redemptor and Primaris Dante. And then following that would be Tyranids with a new card, a super heavy Carnifex, Old One Eye, Giant Swarms, new Gene Stealers, and new Hormagaunts. That would be exciting. I will not get the Blood Angel stuff because they're 30k for me. Maybe it's the Sanguinor, that would be kind of cool. But I don't really care about Primaris Sanguinary Guard or anything. I got my Black Templars for 40k.
Well,
So
Primaris jump squads, makes sense given that Space Marine 2 pretty much gave that away.
yeah, I would pick that up for sure. Go in my backlog.
Yep. As would I. I would like some jump pack Marines for my Black Templars. But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't hear anything about that. I mean, I've always heard the rumor that Space Marine 2.0 was coming out end of the year. That I've heard that rumor since January.
Yeah.
And I was always hoping that 10th edition would not be next year. I think ninth edition really got screwed over by COVID, and uh I think it just needs more time and a little bit more balance to go through, because obviously codex creep was real, and there's a gameplay wise, I don't know. Ninth edition really isn't that good, just given like what happened, right? Where you got Dark Eldar that was just destroying everything, and now you got Custodians got hit with a nerf bat that were destroying everything. Harlequins that were just destroying everything with a 75% win rate. I think ninth edition just needs a little more time and a little more rebalancing, and just to get into the flow of things before they should go to 10th edition. But if they want to rush 10th edition to band-aid ninth, I guess that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think ninth was as bad as eighth in terms of the balance. I think eighth was equally bad, but I think ninth as a game was definitely very, very complicated, very complex, unnecessarily complex game. There's so many stratagems, so many system mastery, so much system mastery required. I mean, it's just an unwieldy game, and I have no desire to play like ninth edition. I mean, Chaos Space Marine's got a huge buff. Abaddon's a beast. I just have no desire to play that game. I mean, it's for I always play 40k, right? But I'm not going to sell my stuff. But right now, especially with 30k, even without 30k, I just have no interest in playing 40k.
Well, I mean, you look at 40k right now, ninth edition wise, and it feels like a beta test, right? Because they reworked the whole detachment system, the whole CP system, and with the recent update with Nephilim, they redid the CP system, redid the detachment system. And it's just like we're in I don't know, beta test 9.2 or something like that, right? Where everything just keeps there's a lot of drastic changes with each new update that happens. And I figure that's probably why 10th edition will hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully iron the core game out. I agree with you, stratagems, too much. It's just there's a lot of thinking. It's a really overwhelming, especially for a new player like I have in my gaming group, where he just can't fully grasp all of it, but he can get some of it. But as a new player, he just can't fully grasp everything. And now the system completely changed, so now he has to relearn everything.
Yeah, yeah. 40k is an interesting spot because I remember back in the day when we first started playing, it was the disclaimer: the game wasn't any more balanced. You had your OP list, you had your Rhino Rush, you had your Nidzilla, you had your Eldar Star Engine Holofield shenanigans, you had your Necron, unkillable legions, you had your Chaos Space Marine Lash of Submission lists, right? And because the internet wasn't as big at the time, updates were editions long, right? You had these lists that were dominating the meta for the whole edition. And now you have the different effect where the game is rapidly being updated and problematic lists are being taken care of, but it does mean that the game is moving the learning the game is moving at a pace that is too, like you mentioned, it's too much for new people, right? You're getting in, you're building an army, and that's why you can't really say like, oh, you gotta, if you build an army that you expect to play with a rule set that you like or are comfortable with, and then you build it, you paint it, and by the time you're ready, the rules have changed. The meta is shifted. It's a lot, right? And but in a sense, that's what the community has wanted for a while, and I think this experiment has shown its limitation. Where yeah, you can have dynamic balance. Yeah, you could you could fix problematic armies, rules, and lists quicker, but you also now have to keep up with all of it. And 40K is a game where most people don't play every week or even every month. Maybe they play it every couple months, once a month, on average, from a lot of polls and amateur research that's been done. And keeping up with the game is crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the future will hold. I don't know if 10th edition is gonna continue that. I mean, 40K is right now, 40K feels like it's being balanced like a video game, and it's not, I think, good, because like if you play League of Legends, you get a champion and he sucks now, he's gonna get buffed or he's gonna get nerfed or Hershey's gonna get nerfed, whatever. Cool, you just switch champions or you try a new play style, right? But in 40K, where you're spending, even if the models were free, not it's obviously they cost money, but even if they're free, you're spending time building and painting these models, and now either the rules change or they're bad, or not even bad. They play in a way that's different than what you expected. Maybe you're excited playing, I don't know, hit and run Eldar, or Harlequins a certain way, or Custodians a certain way, or Mechanicum a certain way, and Dark Eldar a certain way, and then the balance update hits and now your army plays completely differently, right? You're kind of screwed because there goes that desire to play for that play style,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yep, I've had that. I mean, that was the reason why I stopped playing my Craft World Eldar in 8th edition. The aspect warriors, complete trash. You'd get shot. Well, I mean, the way I played my aspect warriors, no shining spears or anything like that. It was scorpions and banshees. Your army would get shot off the board before they do anything. Scorpion chainswords, that +1 strength. Wow, strength 4 with no AP. You're doing absolutely nothing. Banshee strength 3 with power swords. Good luck winning Space Marines who are T4. And obviously, I think yeah, 8th edition wasn't really too friendly to close combat armies anyway. So my aspect warrior dream back then totally did. That's why I changed to Dark Eldar. Dark Eldar were fun to play.
right. And again, I've said this before multiple times, and I said it on this podcast too. Games Workshop does not change the rules to sell models, because if they did that, the monolith would be OP, and it's not. If they did that, Hammerfall Bunkers would be OP. They're not. Darkstrider would be OP. He's not. I just think, one, the people making the game are narrative players. They're not interested in making a tight competitive rule set. And to be honest, the wider community doesn't care about that. The wider community just cares about cool models and cool lore, and the sales figures support that.
Mhm.
But the desire to, I think, going back to what we were talking about earlier, and now I think that the problem 40K is facing stems from the desire to constantly balance the game. Now, I'm not saying balance is bad, but I think the quest for balance is moving at a too rapid of a pace, where it's hard to keep up. Straight up, it's hard. It's very hard to keep up.
Well, I mean, That's why they're doing the balance every 6 months, right? Or they're trying the
Yeah,
balance every 6 months.
yeah, and even then, it's showing its limitation.
Well, it's showing its limitation because when you got codex creep like Custodes and Harlequins, especially Harlequins, where they just dominated so fast that they, what, I think a week or two after the Eldar book came out, they already got hit with a bunch of nerfs. Just because of how punishing and I mean not punishing, how dominating they were in the tournament scene.
Right. And and in terms of codex creep, I think codex creep isn't intentional, because if it was, Chaos Knights and Knights would be dominating the meta, and they didn't. They came in and they just got smashed by everyone else. So I think it's it's just a dice roll in a funny meta commentary. Like, it's a dice roll if the next codex will be OP. Gene Stealers weren't really OP, right?
Nope.
Custodians were. They won the dice roll. So, but even then, you're introducing more rules into the system that people have to take into account. You know. So
I mean, I probably know the answer to this, but how would you feel if stratagems were just completely removed?
if stratagems were removed, I mean, I would like it because I hate stratagems, right? But even then, I really the constant change of rules is still the biggest barrier to long-term enjoyment of 40K, especially if you take it moderately seriously. Like, if you're just there to roll dice and drink beers or wine coolers or whatever, you don't care. You won't care. But the people who do care about the game, it's tough again, it's really tough to keep up even without stratagems, right? Like, a lot of the rules changes weren't really stratagem intensive. They were changes to core rules, Laughing God, obsec for custodes, stuff like that, tyrannid, synaptic imperatives, points changes. It's it's tough. It's tough to keep up, regardless of warlord trade stratagems and all that. Just introducing new rules
Yep,
is a
of
lot.
course. Of course. Well, it's a good thing. Well, it's a good thing they didn't do the every quarter rules change, I guess, then. Because I
Yeah.
can only imagine how much of a mess that would actually be. Pumping out those rush rules and map changes and secondary changes, if any, if they did any of those. So here's the hoping. Here's the hoping. If 10th edition is next year, here's the hoping they don't have the same problem they had in ninth.
We'll see. I mean, it'll be tough because if Games Workshop switches to longer updates, then the game will be unbalanced. We'll have the same imbalances for longer. But the flip side is today, where balance is happening too quickly. So I don't know. We'll see. Either way, as long as the models are cool, I think the game will be fine overall.
Well, GW will be fine because, as you said, the models are cool, and even though GW stumbled really hard at the beginning of COVID, I still don't think there's any miniature company that's close to GW quality. So I think they're gonna be a okay, and especially with all the, especially how mainstream it keeps getting every year, GW will be fine.
Right.
But that was a good rant to go on. Anyways, what have you been up to hobby wise?
More 30K. Just airbrushed some 2 Contemptors and 10 more Tac Marines right now. Yeah, keeping that hype train up. Played another game last weekend. Super fun. Sons of Horus versus Blood Angels. I got smashed, but it was kind of cool. Shot down a plane with my Leviathan.
Hmm,
That was nice. And yeah, they're just having a good time with the Heresy, just
nice.
painting the models and kind of building the LA community up.
How is the LA community? Is it a
It's kind
healthy
of
state?
scattered. I mean, I run the Facebook group, and but it's pretty scattered. Some people play it some places, some people play in others. It's kind of hard to organize events for it because I know 30K for me, 30K ideal 30K is fully painted, great terrain, awesome game. But it's kind of hard to have an event that's fully painted with good terrain, good terrain that's doable. But making sure people bring in fully painted models, that's tough.
Of
And you
course.
can't really have a tournament because tournaments aren't really a 30K thing, right? So kind of watching leagues in the area pop up, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I'm just kind of playing games, posting pictures, getting some hype up.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, in terms of me, we didn't really game last week because it was hot.
It was very hot.
It was a scorching over here, as it always does. Hopefully, this week will be cooler. But yeah, I didn't really do anything. Kind of just relaxed, pulled out some models, got some Shadows of Brimstone painted.
There you go.
Speaking of which, Shadows of Brimstone, my Kickstarter. I'm trying to remember. I think it's been like 3-4 years now. Manufacturing beginning. We're gonna hopefully get stuff by the end of this year. We'll see.
Okay, there you go.
I've heard this promise before in mini Kickstarters. Let's hope they keep this one this time, because I'm pretty sure I was supposed to get it.
Cross your fingers.
I'm pretty sure I was supposed to get it in 2020. I can't really remember. That's how long it's been. But COVID, so they got the excuse. But here we go. Manufacturing beginning. Shipment hopefully coming out soon. Uh, Excited for that. And that's about it. I haven't really done too much anything else. I want to try out the new 40K command point system. See how vastly different that game system is now. Now that you
That
won't
would
be
be
able to just soup up a captain or unload all your stratagems in one round. I'm interested to see how that'll play. But other than that, it's me just slowly painting away my backlog. Is there anything else you want to add or talk about?
no, I think that's it.
All right then. We'll close out. I'd like to thank everyone who made it to the end. Again, likes, subscribe, comment, help us out, and we'll see you next time.
Let everyone.